After the informative talk of Dr. Cruz and Mayor Joy on Quezon City, someone has his hands full on the rest of the country's pandemic management and response. Dahil po sa kanyang matagumpay na serbisyo sa ating militar, isang sundalo na may kagalang-galang na reputasyon, pambihirang profesionalismo, siya ay pinagkatiwalaang mabigyan ng mahalagang military position, including martial law administration in Mindanao. Na ibig sabihin po, he is clearly the one with the experience in crisis management. Here to give us the current updates on IATF and NTF for the entire nation, in behalf of DILG Secretary Eduardo Año, who is attending an IATF meeting right now, inaanyayahan po natin ang isang residente rin po ng Quezon City. Siya po ay former president po ng Rotary Club of Camp Crame. Please welcome po ang USEC po ng DILG, si USEC Bernie Florese.
Maghugas ng kamay, magsuot ng face mask, mas ligtas, mas sigurado, mas protektado. Maghugas ng kamay, magsuot ng face.
Attorney Dot Gangkayko, the spouse of our past governor, District Governor Ambo Gangkayko, and it's good to see you again, ma'am. Alam niyo, si Attorney Dot, kasama ko sa mga activities sa Rotary sa Quezon City, and even during international conventions. So narinig ko kanina, multitasking talaga si Attorney Dot. Totoo yun. During activities, siya yung aming director, siya rin yung aming dance instructor. Lahat na, napagagaling siya, music, etc., etc. Pakikumusta lang, ma'am, kay Governor. And of course, I'd like to greet our present Governor, si Governor Johnny Yu, who is on Zoom. I'd like to greet our host, Mayor Joy Belmonte, napakasipag na alkalde. Kaya sinasabi ko sa kanya kanina, very concerned talaga ako sa Quezon City. Kaya nung narinig kong nagka-COVID si Mayor Joy, actually pinapagalitan ko si Mayor Joy. Ikaw kasi napakasipag mo. Hindi, totoo yun. Saan-saan mo makikita si Mayor Joy. Just like Secretary Año, walang pinapalipas na mga activities, meetings, mga visits sa mga LGUs. Ganun talaga. We have to do that, if only to survive from this pandemic. I'd like to greet also the Congresswoman, the lone Congresswoman, the lone representative of Marikina, si Congresswoman Stella Luz Kimbo. Thank you, ma'am. Si Dr. Tony Liachon, who has been with us, siya po yung aming advisor sa National Task Force. Simula pa nung na-establish yung National Incident Command. Kasama ko po siya araw-araw sa Camp Aguinaldo doon sa National Incident Command. Siya po ay yung aming advisor on what to do. Kasi po ito, nung nagkaroon ng pandemic, hindi naman talaga namin alam kung paano gagawin. So we have to rely on our experts, especially the medical experts. Si Dr. Tony Liachon. Of course, yung isa ko pang idol sa National Task Force, siya yung advisor din namin, especially on digital contact tracing, si Yusek Liceo Rio, formerly with DICT. Other distinguished guests, may na-miss ba ako? Of course, si Dr. Edsel Salvana, kasama rin namin. The organizers of this alliance, napakaganda ng inyong advocacy. Sinasabi ko kay Dr. Leachon, ginagawa nyo to dahil lang sa inyong malasakit sa ating kapwa. No? Walang bayad ito. No? Napakaganda. And I recognize the alliance ng government and the private sector, such as Kill COVID. And congratulations to our chairman, our president, and the rest of the members. Now, I'd like to give you a situationer of the pandemic in the Philippines. This one is the one being presented to the president during cabinet meetings. So I just would like to share to you. This is the one being presented by the National Task Force Chief Implementer, si General Charlie Galvez. It's more of, some are very technical, at baka mapagalitan ako ni Dr. Leachon, kasi yun na palagi niya sinasabi noon, we have to laymanize. Kasi para maintindihan ng mga tao. But sometimes it's really very hard. So I'd like to start with the theme, starting with yung ating National Action Plan 1, which is NAP1. Yung theme natin is how to be able to save lives. Kung paano natin maproteksyonan ating mga kapwa Pilipino. Kung paano natin sila maisalba dun sa COVID-19. Yun yung naging tema natin ng National Action Plan 1. The next slide would show us the summary of cases in the country as of October 21, yesterday. Of the 362,243 cases reported, we have 311,506 recoveries, 6,747 recorded deaths, and 43,990 active cases. Just allow me to read through my notes so that I will not exceed the time allotted to me, which is 20 minutes. But hopefully I'll be able to finish this in less than 20 minutes. For this week of October, our average number of confirmed cases per day is 2,408, which continues to our second straight week with average of cases below 3,000. The average number of recoveries is 2,864. This further continues with the trend of more recoveries than confirmed cases being added. The average death per day for the week is 31. Makikita po natin na since the last month of September, bumababa na ang ating mga active cases, kung saan nasa 43,990 na. Mas mababa last week na 46,372, and 2 weeks ago na 51,894. The latest available time varying hour of the Philippines is 0.925 as of October 7, 2020. Later, I know Dr. Leachon will be explaining what is R. But R simply means reproduction number or reproductive number. Base po sa ating mga epidemiologists, ay kailangan tuloy-tuloy nating maipababa sa below 1 ang R. Makikita po natin na sa nagsimula tayo sa NAP Phase 2 at the end of June na more than 1 ang ating R. Ito ay dating umaabot ng 1.5 pero sa ngayon ay napaabot na natin ng below 1 or 0.925 as of October 7. Based on our national epidemic curve, data shows that our country's national epidemic curve seemingly peaked on the first week of August or in the middle of the implementation of our NAP Phase 2. In the middle of July to August, out interventions included Oplan Kalinga, aggressive implementation, one hospital command operationalization, and strict quarantine classifications in target provinces such as Calabarzon and Central Luzon. Ito sinasabi ko kay Dr. Liachong kanina, kailangan bantayan natin ang Region 3 at Region 4A. Ano man ang mangyayari sa Region 3 at Region 4A ay maapektuhan ang NCR. As we can see from the curve, cases have been gradually declining in NCR, while it has been increasing in Region 4A and other regions. Meaning, while we have been largely successful in our interventions in Metro Manila, there is still a lot of work to do in addressing the other regions as infections appear to spread to the provinces. Ngayon po, nasa La Union ang ating mga teams, sa Tawi-Tawi, all over the country. Binibisita po natin yung kung saan merong matataas ang cases. Kailangan na nating ipag-ibayo ang pag-address ng COVID-19 sa labas ng Metro Manila at major economic hubs like Cebu and Davao, kung saan ay naibaba natin ang mga cases base sa ating mga interventions. Magmula noong mag-peak tayo ng bagong cases noong first and second week ng August, dahil sa agresibong pagtanggal natin sa mga positive cases sa community, bumababa na ang ating mga bagong cases. Ito ay dahil nakakatulong tayo na may alis ang mga COVID positive sa kanilang mga bahay. Ang ating kasalukuyang 43,990 active cases po ay pinakamababang bilang ng active cases for the past 2 months or since August 15. The observed number of deaths continued to decline after the first week of August, which appears to be the time when we peaked. On average, during the peak on the second week of August, we were experiencing 58 deaths per day. This has decreased to more or less 41 deaths per day during the first 3 weeks of September, down to an average of 36 deaths per day on the first week of October. We continue to see a downtrend, and we will work to further decrease this number further. Aabot na po ang ating natitest na halos 4.45 million na test na may 4.19 million na tao. Ito ay katumbas ng 3.8 ng ating populasyon, bagamat napakaliit pa. Kung inyo pong maalala, nagsimula tayo na 20,000 lang ang ating natitest nung katapusan ng Marso. Ngayon, sa isang araw, ay umaabot na tayo ng 35,000 na natitest. And the highest recorded daily test output is 46,803 tests last September 11, 2020. In our testing capacity, we started with only 3 laboratories in February 2020. Now we already have 147 accredited laboratories as of October 21. 112 are for RT-PCR and 35 are gene expert. At present, we still have 99 molecular labs which are applying for accreditation. NCR has 62 testing laboratories. Other regions in Luzon have 40 laboratories, Visayas has 22, and Mindanao has 23 laboratories. There are also 72 public laboratories and 73 private laboratories. Isa pa pong magandang balita na meron na tayong 21 LGUs na nakapag-establish ng kanilang sariling testing capacity or laboratorio, including Quezon City. Kung natatandaan niyo po, noong April nagsimula tayo ng Marikina lamang ang nagpatayo ng kanyang sariling lab. Sa ngayon ay mayroon na tayong 21. Bahagi ito ng pagpapalakas natin ng healthcare capacity sa ating mga LGUs. Nagkasa din tayo ng aggressive testing sa pamamagitan ng ating mobile testing teams sa lalawigan ng Bataan at Batangas. Tuloy-tuloy din ang ating pag-ikot sa mga syudad sa NCR para isagawa ito. Sa pagka-aproba ng Bayanihan 2 ay nabigyan tayo ng pondo sa ating DILG sa pag-hire ng 50,000 na dagdag na contact tracers. Ito ay napakahalaga sapagkat alam natin na ang contact tracing ang isa sa mga haligi ng ating National Action Plan. Sa ngayon ay patuloy na tumataas ang bilang ng ating mga contact tracers kung saan ay meron na tayong 250,805 na contact tracers na mas mataas ng 3,151 nung nakaraang linggo. Sa pamamagitan ng programang Oplan Kalinga, tinutulungan natin ang mga COVID-19 patients or positive na mailipat sa mga isolation facilities mula sa kanilang mga bahay. Sa pag-quarantine ng ating mga COVID-positive patients, meron tayong 15 mega quarantine facilities, pero bukod pa doon ay kumuha tayo ng 41 hotels all over NCR, Region 4A at Region 3, na may capacity na 4,025 beds. Sa kabuuan ay naka-isolate or quarantine na tayo ng 33,045 na pasyente at nagkaroon ng malaking tulong o epekto sa pagbaba ng ating active cases sa NCR Region 4A at Region 3. Ang kahalagan po ng pag-isolate natin sa 33,045 ay makikita natin ay malaki lalo sa patuloy na pagbaba ng ating cases sa NCR at sa pag-maintain ng ating mababang fatality rate. Ito rin po ang dahilan kung bakit ang mga ospital na natin sa NCR ay naibaba na natin sa medium risk zone. Ito ay base sa ating tutunan or lessons learned na kung saan ang mga lugar na nagkakaroon ng exponential growth ng kanilang active cases ay naiuugnay natin sa pagdami ng naka-home quarantine. Ang ating Oplan Kalinga ay gagawin po natin sa buong bansa sa pagtutulungan ng DPWH, Department of Tourism, DOH, IATF at ng mga LGUs. Sa ngayon, sa pagdami ng kaso sa Batangas, ay na-roll out na natin ang serbisyo ng Oplan Kalinga simula last week. Ang Batangas po ay simula lamang na pag-expand ng serbisyo ng Oplan Kalinga. Sa mga susunod na araw ay layunin natin na expand ang serbisyo ng Oplan Kalinga sa buong bansa. Ang target po natin ay matugunan ang 42,786 na total bed isolation or quarantine requirements. Mula sa ating mga focus regions ng NCR, Calabarzon, Central Luzon, Western Visayas, Zamboanga Peninsula, Northern Mindanao, Caraga, and Barm. Isasama din natin ang requirements sa mga emerging areas sa rehiyon ng Eastern Visayas, dagdag sa Central Visayas, Davao Region at sa Region 1 at Region 2. Ngayong October 18 ay nakapagtala na rin tayo ng mahigit 259,781 na OFWs na natulungan sa ating one-stop shop at Oplan Bayanihan ng ating task group on the management of returning overseas Filipinos. Ang tulong na ito ay nagsisimula doon pa lang kung saang bansa sila galing, kung saan inaasikaso sila ng ating mga DFA at inaayos ang kanilang pag-repatriate. Pagdating sa airport ay meron tayong one-stop shop kung saan dadaan ang ating mga OFWs at returning overseas Filipinos sa swab test at ihahatid sa kanilang mga hotel na nagsisilbing quarantine facility kung saan hihintayin nila ang resulta. Pag nag-test sila, ay susunduin naman sila at ihahatid sa kanilang mga bayan through our DOTR. Ganyan po ang pag-alaga natin sa ating mga OFWs, even overseas Filipinos, kung saan meron po tayong 259,781 na napauwi. Meron din tayong ini-extend sa ating mga kababayang gustong umuwi na mula sa Sabah. Sa ngayon ay meron na tayong napauwi sa pamamagitan ng ating mga ahensyang nagtulong-tulong gaya ng DFA, DSWD at DND na mahigit 1,968 returning Filipinos. Noong September 24, ay may dumating na karagdagang 400 at sila po ay na-assist natin at tuloy-tuloy lamang every 15 days hanggang mapauwi natin ang ating target na 5,300 na kababayan po natin sa Sabah. Sa pagbisita natin sa Lanao del Norte, nakaraang linggo, ay nasaksihan natin ang pagsisikap ng LGU na matugunan ang COVID-19. Ginamit ng probinsya ang nilaan na budget allocation sa bayanihang grant sa pagpapatayo ng molecular laboratory. Ito po ang ating hinahangaan dahil nakita natin na isa lang ito sa 21 LGU-constructed laboratories all over the country. Sa pagpapatayo ng laboratory na ito ay mas lalong napapalakas ang health system, hindi lang sa Lanao del Norte, kundi sa Iligan at Lanao del Sur. Simula sa paglaban ng pandemya na ito, ay na-recognize na natin ang kahalagahan ng pagkikipagtulungan ng private sector sa ating laban kontra COVID-19, katulad ng ginagawa ninyo. Ang isang proyektong ito ay isa na namang patunay na ng ating close partnership with the private sector. Noong September 21 ay na-turn over sa national government ang bunga ng pagkakaisa ng gobyerno at ng private sector sa pamamagitan ng paggawa ng isang mega quarantine center sa bagong nayong Pilipino in Parañaque. Itong mega quarantine center ay kaya mag-house ng 600 bed capacity at ginawa ng Rason Group companies sa mahigit lamang na 2 buwan. Nilalayon natin na ma-operationalize by November at imaman ng ating Armed Forces of the Philippines. Dumako naman tayo sa National Action Plan 2 tungo sa National Action Plan 3. In NAP Phase 3, we will be sustaining the gains from the previous National Action Plans while providing an equilibrium both on our health safety and economic recovery. During this phase, there will be no more trade-offs. Phase 3 will be our transition plan to the new normal from the last quarter of this year to the first quarter of 2021. As what NEDA has pointed out for every week, that the community quarantine is imposed in the National Capital Region, around 0.10 to 0.28 percentage points are being shaved off from the nation's potential annual GDP growth, or 6.5%. And it is to be noted that every 0.10 percentage point is equal to 19.5 billion pesos in lost value added, or around 63.4 billion pesos in lost sales. Thus, on October 2, 2020, the IATF, in its resolution number 76, called for the further gradual reopening of the economy in increments proportional to the healthcare capacity of the country, as we seek to manage the consequences of the pandemic and learn to live with the virus. It is also called to further enhance the approved prevent, detect, isolate, treat, recovery and strategy na na-mention kanina ni Mayor against COVID-19, as we seek to be more responsive to the current realities. Sa ating pong pagplano sa National Action Plan Phase 3, ang ating focus ay una, to sustain the gains of what we have achieved during the past 6 months. Second, to really minimize and fully contain new cases at mapababa ng ating number of deaths para masimulan na natin na ma-fully recover ang ating economy. Meron po tayong mga innovations kung paano i-implement ang NAP 3. Unang-una, ang pagpapa-fully implement ng minimum health standards sa ating mga workplaces at mga establishments. Pangalawa, ang tinatawag nating active case finding. Ito ay sa pamamagitan ng syndromic surveillance kung saan proactive tayo na naghahanap ng mga posibleng infected sa ating mga communities. Pangatlo ay ang pagbaba ng ating mga active cases sa bilang na kayang i-manage ng ating mga LGUs. Nakita natin na sa Taguig City, sa halos 5% na lang ang kanyang total cases, ang active cases niya. Ito ang ibibigay nating layunin o target sa ating mga LGUs. Pang-apat ay ang pagpapalakas sa ating healthcare system na sa matagal na panahon ay napabayaan. Sa pamamagitan ng mga hakbang na ito ay layon nating mapabilis na ma-recover ang ating ekonomiya sa lalong madaling panahon. The key features are as follows. Bring back the confidence of the public to live with COVID-19 until a vaccine becomes available through following and enforcing the minimum public health standards, building capacity, yung tatawag natin test, trace, isolate, treat, ensuring speed and efficacy of the response. Continue to strengthen the capacities of our local government and health institutions in order to respond to the pandemic. Gradual reopening of the economy, shift to risk management, improve the implementation of our PDITR strategies to ensure we are responsive to emerging realities, strengthen multi-stakeholder partnerships, public and private. And then localization of national efforts, strengthen data and information management, and then strengthen monitoring and evaluation system. Open our transport sector, ensuring sufficient and safe public transportation, especially for the workers who are a key element in helping rehabilitate our economy. Continue localized and granular quarantine and isolation. No home quarantine should be the rule rather than the exception. And lastly, there shall be very strict conditions that must be complied with for home quarantine to be allowed. In closing, I would like to honor our medical frontliners, our modern-day heroes, who have made every conceivable sacrifice to ensure the health and safety of the Filipino people. We honor our doctors, nurses, healthcare workers, soldiers, police personnel, and civil servants who have been at the forefront of the nation's fight against COVID-19. Therefore, we call on all Filipinos to unite and work shoulder to shoulder so that we can surmount this crisis, heal as one, and move forward as a nation. Sa inyo pong lahat, magandang hapon at mabuhay kayo.
Thank you very much, Yusek Florese. Maraming salamat po. Andyan po si Governor Johnny Yu. Okay, ang ating pong governor ngayon sa Rotary.